Beginning this video, you will be starting to solve problems on Archimedes principle. We will be using the Archimedes principle to solve various problems from here on. And the first problem that I have for you is a very important application of the Archimedes principle. Let me explain the situation first and then I will give you the problem. You know, we purchase gold ornaments from jewelry shop, okay? So let's assume that this typical shape that I have drawn over here, it's a solid gold shaped ornament that we have purchased from the jewelry shop. Now gold has a very high price. It has a very high value. Sometimes what some jewelry shop owners do is they mix some amount of copper into the gold ornament. Copper has a very similar color, okay, almost similar color as gold. So if you mix a little bit of copper into gold, it's very difficult to identify the same. At the same time, copper's value or copper's price is much less as compared to gold. But when the jewelry shop owner sells this particular object, he says that this entire material is made up of gold. He doesn't say that there is some amount of copper present inside. So what happens? You basically purchase copper at the price of gold. So it's a loss for you. That means mixing copper into gold may be a crime, okay? It might not be the correct thing to do. But how do you catch hold of somebody who is mixing copper into gold? Here comes the importance of Archimedes principle. The Archimedes principle can be used to identify if some amount of copper has been mixed into gold. See, let me tell you how. Let's say you purchase a gold ornament, okay? Let's say this is a gold ornament of mass M, okay? Now you know the density of gold. Let's say the density of gold is equal to rho g. If you can measure the volume of this gold piece, okay, then rho g must be equal to the mass of this piece divided by the volume of this piece, right? I hope you are clear with me. See, you can measure the mass of this piece of gold by using a weighing machine. If you can measure the volume of this piece of gold, you can calculate out what is the density of this piece. Now you know what is the density of gold. If the measured density of this object is different from the density of gold, then it shows that apart from gold, there is some other metal present inside this object. If it is totally made of gold, then you must have M by V equal to density of gold. If it is different, that means some other metal has been put inside. But what is the difficulty? The difficulty is to measure the volume of this object. It's not easy because it's a random kind of a shape. Let's say something like this. How do you measure the volume of this piece? See, Archimedes principle can be used to measure volume of different shaped objects. So, here in this problem, we would basically be using the Archimedes principle to measure the volume of these random shaped objects, and that in turn would be used to measure the purity of gold, okay? Let's come to the problem. Let's come to the statement of the problem now. So let's say you purchase an object made up of gold, okay? Let's say this object, and it weighs W1 when you weigh it in air. So you take the object, measure the weight of that particular object in air. It measures W1. Next, what you do is you take a tank full of water, okay? You dip this object inside water and you measure what is the weight. you see that the weight of this object inside water is equal to W2, where W2 is less than W1. And that is expected, right? When you put an object inside water, it would have a buoyant force acting upwards. As a result, the observed weight would be less than the weight in air, right? So W2 is less than W1. So W1 is given, W2 is given. You suspect that some amount of copper has been mixed with gold, okay? You know that the density of copper is equal to rho C and density of gold is, let's say, equal to rho G, okay? You also know that the density of water is equal to rho W, okay? Using this information, we need to find out what is the percentage of copper and what is the percentage of gold in this particular object. Whether it is 100% gold or some amount of copper has been mixed into this object. Okay. So let me once again repeat the problem. We purchase an object made of gold. Okay. The jewelry shop owner claims that it is completely made of gold. So what you do? You measure the weight of this object in air. You see that the weight is W1. Then you measure the weight of this object inside a tank of water. You see that the weight of this object is equal to W2. You know that the density of copper is rho C, density of gold is rho G, and density of water is rho W. Using this information, find out what is the percentage of copper, percentage of gold in this particular object. Okay, I hope the problem is clear. Try it out. In case you are not able to solve this problem out, we would be solving this problem in the follow-up video. So let's jump into the follow-up video on the discussion on this particular problem. Thank you.